City News is brought to you by East Brewster Lawyers Rotorua, celebrating 100 years of legal excellence and innovation.
Good evening, Rotorua. Tonight on City News. Police are concerned at the number of attacks on tourists and young women in recent weeks, especially along Fenton Street. An online video series called Rotorua's Hidden Hotspots has been released this week by Destination Rotorua Marketing. And the Chiefs are in Queensland this weekend for a warm-up game against the Reds. Police are concerned at the number of attacks on tourists and young women in recent weeks, especially along Fenton Street. Sergeant Brendan Keenan says motel rooms were the target, but recently people are being assaulted as well.
Yeah, certain offenders have what we call sort of MOs, the way that they sort of go about doing their business, and often on Fenton Street we have offenders that will target the actual what we call the motel strip. In this particular case, obviously, it's gone up a level because it's now actually targeting, rather than the premise, it's targeting actual people and vulnerable people. So I think in this case it will be a combination of those that are now targeting people, but also opportunists as well. So offenders will look for opportunists when you've got a location and a vulnerable person, so those tourists and female, it creates sort of that environment for crime to happen.
An online video series called Rotorua's Hidden Hotspots has been released this week by Destination Rotorua Marketing. The collection of 6 short videos takes viewers on a visual journey through the hidden gems around Rotorua, featuring forest, family, adventure, luxury and spa videos, as well as a look at contemporary Māori culture. DRM General Manager Oscar Nathan says the series is about challenging people's perceptions of Rotorua. He says the series aims to build on the success of the famously Rotorua television commercial, but also show a more in-depth picture of what's available in our city. The videos have been released online at rotoruanz.com/hidden hotspots. Events and Venues event manager Martin Croft says initial reviews of the New Year Glow Festival have been overwhelmingly positive. It was the second year they'd held the 3-day Glow Festival, and Mr Croft says it's still a work in progress. He says New Year's Eve was a particular hit, especially the fireworks display. However, some tweaking is needed around the edges.
But we do know there are gaps, and in particular that gap between the end of the show, the end of the early evening fireworks and the big fireworks at the end of the night. We left the amusements open a bit longer. They stayed open till about 11:30. We had the movie down there, but we're still working on that area, and we'll make some changes next year. In sport tonight, the Investec Super Rugby champions, the Chiefs, announced their co-captains for the 2014 season. Inspirational loose forward All Black and last year's Investec Super Rugby Finals Men of the Match, Liam Messon, will remain part of the captaincy duo and will be joined by talented first 5'8" Aaron Cruden. Coach Dave Rennie says the pair have clear goals and will work well together. The Chiefs will play their first pre-season match against the Queensland Reds in Toowoomba this Saturday before heading here next week for Valentine's Day game against the Blues at 6 p.m. at the International Stadium. To your weather update now. Tonight will be fine with easterlies and an overnight low of 12. Tomorrow, Friday, long sunny spells with easterlies, a high of 20 and a low of 15. And the outlook for Saturday looks good with long sunny spells, easterlies, a high of 23 and a low of 14. And the marine forecast for Lake Rotorua, southeast 10 knots developing in the morning and then rising to 15 knots in the afternoon with waves less than half a metre, and it will be fine. Remember, for program listings and other info or to upload images, check out our website tvrotorua.co.nz, or you can look us up on Facebook. Still to come in tonight's program, we get news from the beat as Alan catches up with Sergeant Brendan Keenan. We visit Taurawa Park to find out about the success of the Summer Racing Carnival. And we're with Monty Morrison and Ian Edward to preview Lakeside 2014.
morning, everyone. Well, it's been a wonderful summer here in Rotorua, and we're about to find out how it went from the police's point of view. I'm joined now by Senior Sergeant Brendan Keenan. Kia ora.
Kia ora, how's it going?
Very good, thank you. A very nice day to be outside having a bit of a chat. Tell me, how was the summer from the police's point of view?
It's been a really good summer. It's been busy. It's been busy on the roads, but it's been very good in terms of just no serious and fatal car accidents. There's been a lot of people around and a lot of good things have been happening, and we've just finished the Ragamuffin Festival as well. And that went really well.
Excellent. Was there a big turnout?
Yeah, there was. This year they were probably expecting more than they've had in previous years, but there was still a really good turnout. I think the council were really pleased. They had about 8,000 people on the final Saturday night with Damien Marley finishing off the event there. From a policing perspective, it went really well in terms of we only had 3 arrests, and they were very minor, and a few sort of people returning to for detox and stuff like that. I think the St John's ambulance, they certainly had a busier night than us, but I think all in all everyone seemed to have an enjoyable night. There was a lot of good entertainment and people were well behaved.
We've got some very precious young people that have all gone back to school. So do you have any messages for parents, families around the school kind of drop-off pick-up times?
Yeah, it's an important time for us, and especially our road policing group in relation to going back to school. It's a busy time, and I think the biggest key around going back to school is that people have been driving around for sort of the last couple of months, and there's been no children around at those key times, like sort of around that 8:30 to 9 and also 3 to sort of 4 o'clock. And now suddenly we've got an influx of all these children on the roads, walking to school, being dropped off, and so it's really just been mindful and reminding drivers to be really mindful of all these extra little bodies that we've got, and unpredictable people as well. Like some of the crashes that we did have last year were a result of children running out onto roads. So it's just been really mindful, be mindful of your speed, and for parents as well, just making sure that children are certainly well secured in their vehicle, especially with the new child restraints legislation. And just trying to be patient. Everyone's trying to do the drop-offs and the pickups, and we do see some areas that are a lot more congested as well, especially up round in Rotorua, around Malfoy Road with Westbrook School. There certainly can be congestion around there and stress around parking, so we just encourage people to just really watch out and be patient. The other key thing is for parents also just to advise their children on some safe habits around getting to and from school, whether they are walking. Yes. Certainly take sort of well-recognised paths and avoiding that sort of stranger danger type message. So it's at a good time of the year for parents to be reminding their children of that.
Now, speaking of stranger danger, last year all parents will know that there was a little bit of something happening after school with potentially some people trying to pick up kids. I think there was a bit of a rumour about someone in a white van, that kind of thing. Can you tell us any more about that? I mean, is that still an issue?
In relation to the actual incidences that we had last year in the white van, it was certainly more than rumours. It was certainly sort of a reality. And
okay, so can you tell us about that? Because it's important, and we want our parents to be well informed and prepared for this. Because we haven't caught him, have we?
No, there's been no sort of arrest in terms of sort of that sort of 1C and suspicious behaviour. The good thing that came from that was people were actually reporting it, and that was really good. So that means we could have our staff out and about in those locations. So there were certainly quite a few white vans that were stopped and checked.
Yes, everyone with a white van would have been putting on their best behaviour.
A bit concerned there, I think, as well. But the main thing was that people were actually reporting it and letting us know. So, and there seemed to be good messages out there in terms of from the schools as well. The schools really got behind it as well. And so schools and parents, I think, were doing a good job in educating their children. And of course, when you have a story like this, you do have obviously some aspects of it where it's
a bit wound up.
It's a bit, but yeah, that's right, a bit wound up and stuff. But in the main, it was handled well.
So the main message for those little kiddies, if there's anybody trying to get them into a car that they don't know, what would your message be?
Definitely just make as much noise as you can, scream, shout, kick, and make as much noise and just get as far away as you can as possible.
Are there some words that help? Because sometimes, there are kids that they make a big noise anyway. Is Is there a word? Is there a word that they can say? Help.
Help, go away, but that real distraction, people that are prone to be sort of enticing children into vehicles, they want to do it quickly and quietly, so they don't want to have any commotion or noise, so probably just a lot of noise,
Awesome.
a lot of screaming, and then just moving into just your nearest driveway or someone else that you recognise would be ideal.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's a really great advice, and we're glad that everything is looking good for this year. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
Well, we're on to a winner here at Rotorua Park Racecourse. It's been a bumper racing season for the guys here, and we're going to catch up with their marketing and sponsorship manager, Don Patterson, to talk about the season and the upcoming Cup Day. Thanks for joining us today, Don. Now, obviously with the sun out like a day like today, it's a perfect day for racing, and it's been pretty good for you guys over the summer period.
Really lucky, really lucky. We had the Rotorua Summer Carnival, which started on the 27th of December, then it carried on to the 6th of January and finished just on Friday on the 24th of January, and for every day it's been beautiful fine weather like this. Really happy.
Fantastic. Now, how many numbers have you had through the gate? Because I'm trying to guess, how would you number the amount of people in here?
Well, the day that we charge, I guess, is the perfect way to measure. We only charge on one day of the year, and then that's our Inter-Islander Summer Festival Day on the 27th of December, the first day of the carnival. And we got about 5,000 people through the gate that day, and we know that through the gate takings and how many children they brought with them, etc. Every stand that you see behind me was full, all the lawn was full. It was the biggest day in my memory anyway, and I've been here for about 7 years now.
Now, is this a family day out, or is it just it's the high rollers?
No, it's not about the betting on the horses. It's definitely about the day to bring the mum, dad and the kids along, get together with the whānau, enjoy a great day out, lots of free children's entertainment, and that's exactly what it worked out to be. It was fantastic.
What about out-of-towners? Do you get many visitors coming in?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's this race day, the 27th of December, has been there for years. I mean, over 15 years that I know of, and it's evolved into the summer festival as time has progressed. So it's been a tradition for people who live out of town to come to Rotorua after Christmas, get together with their friends and family and come to the races. It's just something that's happened year in, year out.
Now, with all traditions at racehorse days or cup days, things like that, people get dressed up. But is it like that here in Rotorua?
It is on Cup Day, and that we have 2 days of the year that are on Saturdays, and one is the Campbell Infrastructure Rotorua Cup on the 11th of May that's coming up, or might be the 10th of May, and then also our Rotorua Plate Day, which is the day we have our fashions in the field in October. Those are the 2 days that traditionally people get dressed up at.
Now, coming up, like you said, is 10th of May. It's a bit away from us now, a couple of months away is Cup Day. How big is that for Rotorua?
That is a great day. We get about 3,000 people on course, but the thing about that, around that time of the year, it's a bit cooler. So all of our lounges are absolutely chocker. It's really an indoor event, and we're lucky here at Rotorua that the facilities here are up to coping with that. We've got lots of lounges to host people in. And it's also about the racing more that day than it is on the 27th of December, because it's the day that we have our best races, the Windsor Park Stud Fillies and Mares Classic race that we have, and also, of course, the big race of the day, the Campbell Infrastructure Rotorua Cup.
Do you get many local celebs coming down and enjoying the day and laying a few bets?
Certainly do. We had Tamati Coffee come and join us on the 27th of December. It was great to see him and his family. He now lives here, I believe, up in Kawaha Point somewhere. So it's great to see people like that, supporting the club.
Now, there might be some people sitting at home, horse racing's a bit of a vice. It's gambling, so to speak, but it's not really like that here in New Zealand, is it?
Well, no. I mean, if traditionally New Zealand was described as a nation of rugby, racing and beer. That was our culture, and it's always been that way. Of course, it's got a bit watered down with the introduction of lotto and pokie machines, etc. They've really changed the playing field as such, because previously all you had to bet on was the races, but now you can bet on everything from rugby to cricket to all the sports, car racing, motor racing, the whole 9 yards. So it's really no longer just ours. So it is a bit of a struggle for racing clubs, and what people don't realise is that the racing industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry for New Zealand as far as export earnings, because our horses are some of the best in the world and they're sent overseas. And when you add all that up, you look at how many people are employed throughout. That's your jockeys, your trainers, the stable hands, the people who sell them the food. When you put all that together, it's a serious part of our economy, and yet we are now struggling because of the introduction of pokie machines and lotto. That's taken away so much of our money, and all of these offshore betting agencies, etc., that people can bet on. I know
so
that
the industry's flooded.
Yeah, for sure. Far too much available. But that's the way of the world. There's competition for everything these days, and we just have to fight for our share.
Well, let's go down that track a little bit, Don. We just talked quickly off camera about what happens if a casino came to Rotorua. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my personal opinion, and knowing a little bit about the way the laws work and the licences and how difficult they are to be granted, and particularly the local councils here sinking lid policy on pokie machines. The only way that a casino really could come here would be as if all the pokie machines that were in existing areas were concentrated under one roof at that casino, because there's no way that they would certainly allow more pokie machines coming into Rotorua, and I wouldn't be an advocate of that either. But if they took them and put them in one area, it was far easier to control, much problem gambling is easier to monitor. For example, like they do in the United States and the Indian tribes, they have some of them out at Lake Tahoe. They have casinos like that, which their own people aren't even allowed to go into.
Yeah, it's a big issue, isn't it?
Oh yeah, so it's. I think it would be a positive step if that was to happen, but certainly not if it wasn't.
Cool. Now, just before we go, Don, May 10th, Cup Day.
Yep.
Any final advice for our viewers if they want to come down and watch, and what time should they get here?
Well, Cup Day, you've got a bit of time yet, but it's usually around about midday we open the gates. It's free entry to get in, there's no charge. So just come and find yourself a nice posse in one of our thermally heated lounges. That's another bonus of living in Rotorua, and we'd love to have your company.
All right, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, I'm standing right in the middle of what will be the main stage at the Lakeside concert here in a couple of weeks. And today we're going to be catching up with Monty Morrison, who is the concert organiser, and also Ian Edward. Now, he's the chairman of the Rotorua Lakeside organisation. And then we're going to find out what happens with the money that's been raised at the Lakeside concert. And Monty, now, Ian, this is your baby. 18 years the Lakeside's been going. You must be pretty happy.
Well, we are. It was an idea, really, I guess, a modern update of what was done here in the 1950s down at the Sound Shell over the back here, and it rather struck me that we could provide a modern interpretation, and here we are 18 years later, it still works.
Now, you say modern interpretation, but this year the theme's a little bit different.
Yeah, we're really excited. We wanted something different, and we went to Frankie Stevens and said, look, we want you to do a different job for us, and he came back after consultation with one or two of his mates with the bald, the blind and the beautiful. And guess which one John Rolls was?
He'll be right there in the middle, wouldn't he?
No, he was definitely the last one. The one in the middle is Eddie Lowe, of course, ex-Ngāpuna boy, and both of them have made big careers, particularly in Australia.
So the name of the theme is directly related to the artist?
Absolutely.
Okay, now I've got you.
Yep, so Frankie's definitely putting his hand up to be the bald, and Eddie and John. And then around that we position all the young ones, and we've got some wonderful talent that's coming for it. You'll have a very memorable night, I can assure you of that.
Now, speaking of young ones, Monty, you're obviously the organiser of the event.
Yep.
We've got some local talent as well.
Yes, certainly that's been a tradition that the event has presented to our audience over the years. And if you go back, Elizabeth Marvelley, back in, I think, in the very early 2000s. And then not long after that, Hayley Westerner came through here. So yeah, Lakeside has a proud tradition. So Rotorua has talent, definitely. We've got 3 performers who have been auditioned, and yeah, they'll be something to see.
Now, February 22nd is the big day, Monty. Like I said earlier, the organiser. You've had a busy few months getting everything together. Give our audience at home that are watching some last words or some advice to, on the day, what they should bring and what they need to do.
Lakeside has a proud tradition of being able to make it a family occasion. So obviously that is its appeal. A huge variety, concerts of spectacular proportions. So that's well known. But come prepared for the weather. Look after each other. Roads have to be closed, and all of those are there put in place to ensure that people really enjoy the experience. And over the years, that has proven very successful for us. And really, that's the appeal. Make sure you do come. Make sure you do come dressed for the occasion. Enjoy yourself, relax, and enjoy the experience. And certainly, we were with the artists last week. They're really pumped up and ready to come. So here we are standing almost backstage for the show on the 22nd. And from that week, we then begin rolling out the actual show. So rehearsals in Auckland that week, and then they come here to perform. So yeah, everyone's ready to go.
Looking forward to it. Well, we know that you guys put in a lot of effort for this, and the Rotorua public definitely appreciate your guys' effort, so appreciate your time. Thank you. Well, the benefiting charity of Lakeside Concert is the Te Whakapono Health Trust, and with me today is the Chair, Philippa Wills. Thanks for joining us today, Philippa. Now, how did you guys get involved with the Lakeside Concert?
We were asked by Lakes DHB to help with a big project at the kidney dialysis unit. We'd actually originally funded the building and the machines, but they have a need for really high-tech equipment, an ultrasound machine and 2 high-tech hemodialysis machines for people who are cardiac patients and the elderly. And the total value of everything that we're doing is just over $100,000. So we've done 2 of those machines, and we just need the last hemodialysis machine to be funded.
Now, prior to the dialysis machines coming to Rotorua, people who needed treatment had to go to Hamilton, so I guess them coming here cuts out all that travel and all those problems that they have.
That's right. In 2004 the trust was formed for that, and it's particularly hard on people travelling that distance. That means their families have to help them because they're too tired after dialysis to drive themselves. And in fact, I understand there was an accident with one of the patients at the time that really was the catalyst for us to start.
So how much are you looking to raise, Philippa?
Well, in all, the project's about $100,000. Some of it's in kind. We're also providing television sets with the help of a local provider. So yeah, $100,000 is a lot of money.
Well, I'm sure we'll raise it because, like you said, Rotorua is very good at donating money and helping people out.
Absolutely, we're 2/3 of the way there. We just need a little bit of help.
Right, good stuff. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks.
That was the Chair of Te Whakapono Health Trust, Philippa Wills. Great to see Lakeside support the important work the Trust does in our community. If you had a day off today, I hope you had a great Waitangi Day. Thanks for watching tonight. From all the team at City News, Ko Maria.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
City News was brought to you by East Brewster Lawyers Rotorua, celebrating 100 years of legal excellence and innovation.